So I've got these two fishing buddies, Tom and Kevin. I've been fishing with them for about the last 7 years, probably more, 8 years maybe with Tom. We all met in the early days of the Black Tip Challenge. That was a great tournament. Alas, it's no more. Hint, hint, Josh. Again waffling. Here he goes again. Believe it. But these guys, both of them use the Uni Knot for everything. They tie their hook on with it. They tie their swivels on with it. Line to line connections with it. Line to lure connections with it. They go to the toilet with it. They drink beers with this knot. Yes, you can do anything with this knot. Yada yada yada. We've all heard the same thing before. Uni Knot does it all. Well, joking aside, this is exactly why the knot is so good. It's just so useful with regards to connections, as it's a one-trick pony. It's really such a versatile knot. So let's take a look at this knot and see what is so special when you open it up. So what's interesting about this knot is that it has been around for such a long time. I was looking at a few resources and found that in the Ashley Book of Knots, this was originally called the Gallows Knot, which is very similar to the Scaffold Knot or the Hangman's Knot. So I'm guessing a few people might have actually been hung with the Uni Knot. Okay, so moving on. My point is, this knot's been around for ages. The earlier conceptions had fewer wraps in the body, whereas the more standard universal knot has 5 wraps for the most. Also, as it's been around for such a long time, it's developed a lot of other names, like the Grinner Knot in the UK. Would you believe it? It's got 2 names in the States, the Duncan Loop and the Uni Knot or the Universal Knot. Anyway, a lot of people have put their name against this knot when they wrote a book, made it popular in certain fishing arenas, but for the most I've always known this knot as the Universal Knot or the Uni Knot for short, and have not referred to it as anything else. For the most, it's held up to this day with all types of fishing lines, but like anything in life, when things are improved technically, it'll start pushing the boundaries. I'm referring to mainly line types here. So for example, when Spectre and Dyneema originally hit the commercial market in the early 1990s, where you had lines with 4 or 6 strands and just with a color to it, the knot was probably for the most holding up reasonably well, with slight increase of wraps. But in recent years, with the development of more super lines where you have these 8 strand or more, and all these special coatings, the lines start resembling waxed dental floss, and that stuff is just so slippery. This is where we as anglers ended up learning from our mistakes, or through discussions, or through being taught, as I'm trying to convey here. We ended up adding additional wraps to these really thin lines. For example, when I fish with 30-pound 8-stranded Super Slick Power Pro, I end up using about 9 wraps as a minimum. Anything less will slip. This is the underlying message I've been trying to convey in a few of our overview videos. Whichever knot you end up siding with, you will need to teach yourself exactly what is the least amount of wraps I need to stop this line from slipping. It's no good adding 30 wraps to a knot and going, yeah, this is the strongest knot in the world, as this will end up weakening the knot, as it will never cinch down and create far too much heat. I could talk about that all day, why that is bad, but I may save this for another day. You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to give that episode a miss, but anyway. Anyway, yeah. My point is, you need to find a balance for slipping and breaking. This is going to be the best solution hands down. Like for monofilament, you do not even need 5 wraps. 3 wraps will be all you need, like the old Gallows Knot with 3 wraps. That's it. As I've said in other videos, teach yourself how many wraps you need for your different line types. It's going to take an evening at the dining room table with a brew or a cup of tea, stick the music on, and you're going to teach yourself a load of stuff. It may just save you from losing that 35-pound snook on the weekend. So, one last positive comment on this knot is you must make sure you know what this knot looks like. Many new anglers or kids will end up going online and seeing a video or a picture of this knot, and the worst ones are the rope type pictures where you see the outside coil line passing straight down from the top right down to the bottom of the knot in a perfectly straight line. Well, that's complete and utter garbage. Let me explain. The knot does not look like that at all in its finished state. So I just want to teach you a knot principle here. When you put multiple twists in a line, it doesn't matter what line, and then draw it closed, it'll want to untwist and go and try and find a way back to being straight. So what happens in the uni knot is that as this knot draws closed by pulling the tag end, you will notice the knot begin to untwist. This will cause the outer line to begin winding itself around the outer circumference of the knot. So you'll get the inner wrapped line unwrapping and the outer line begin wrapping itself around the inner wrapped line. This is partly why the knot is so good and gets its strength from. Brilliant, really. So yeah, just to make sure you know what it actually looks like, and there is a lot, I mean a lot of images and videos showing this really badly, and it may be confusing for someone trying to tie this knot for the first time. Just make sure when you're doing the main cinch using the tag end, you allow the knot to freely untwist at the lower end and allow this outer coil to find a natural outer wrap around the inner coils. This may vary from a half a wrap to as many as 4 or 5 depending on the line type and the amount of wraps you initially did. So yes, this is a great knot. It really looks good, great for all line types, easy enough for kids and beginners to learn, really strong and very versatile. I just wanted to at this point take a look at the knot and point out a few inner workings of the knot. This is best seen just prior to tightening the knot down fully. At the lower end you'll notice 2 lines running up to the top of the knot unhindered, mainly the standing end and the line to the top of the knot. From the top of the knot you will notice the standing end is the only line running back down to the end of the knot, and the tag end actually starts wrapping the twist as soon as it enters the knot from the top. Let's just look at 2 samples here. The first is the tag end cinch. The tag exits out the rear of the knot parallel with the standing end, and there is a uniform outer wrap of line running over the inner wraps. With the standing end cinch, the tag end exits at 90 degrees to the end of the knot, and there is a very shallow wrap of the exterior line running around the majority of the line. The first area with a small drawback is the tag exiting out the rear of the knot, which may be problematic for some freshwater fly fishermen or some freshwater lure guys. The second area I don't like about the knot is that if you did try and tighten this knot by only pulling the standing end, it will be very problematic. The knot is designed as a slip knot, where the standing end is allowed to run freely through the middle of the knot. You will also notice on the end of the knot the tag is twisted around the final loop. So if you cinch the knot correctly by pulling the tag, you will notice this last loop draw itself into the knot when you tighten it. This actually neatens up the knot. If you try and tighten the knot by using the standing end, it tightens from the top down and ends up pulling the twist out the knot and actually prevent the knot from working really well. It also then allows the tag to exit at 90 degrees to the knot, and this does not secure the tag very well at all. I would also be concerned about this slipping very easily. This is the subject we will conclude in our testing video, as it's a big issue with the knot. So that's it, the uni knot. This is an all-time great knot. So useful in every situation. If I were to rate this knot, I would certainly give it, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's just really good. It stood the test of time. Thanks for joining us tonight on Toit Fishing. Like, subscribe, get on our website. I'm Warren. Pleased to meet you guys. Thanks for signing up. It's great messaging and talking to some of the guys in the comments. There are probably only a few at the minute. Hopefully that'll increase. I love engaging with people, listening on their opinions as well. Everyone's got an opinion, so they deserve it as well. We want to hear yours. Get on the comments below. Let us know what you think of this Uni Knot. And shout out if you're American or if you're from the States and if you're using the Uni Knot, because it'll make me laugh, because like I say, it's so popular over there. I don't think anyone's going to ever change from using the Uni Knot in the States, that is. Well, until they've seen the Toit Knot. Stay tuned, it's coming up. You can get a sneak peek of that actually on our website. We've put up a few photographs of it, a few different stages we've got. This isn't about the Toit Knot, it's about the Uni Knot. But check it out. Check out our website, you might like it. We've got some great photos on there, some great data on there, some good links to all our other YouTube videos. I freaking love this knot. People freaking love this freaking knot. I'm like, I think it's just junk.
Really?
Because if you pull it the one way, it's on the testing, it's like you hardly get even 50% of the strength. It just pulls, and if you pull it the other way, it's fine. But how's a new guy supposed to even know to do that? You can make one mistake just by pulling this line instead of this line. You get two different knots.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, I just think that's junk, isn't it? But it doesn't matter. They're all. I mean, Josh uses it. Everyone uses. Tom, Kevin, all my buddies in America use it. You go to South Africa, they've never even heard of it. And yeah, they call it. It's got about like 10 names. The same knot. And I'm actually this bit. I talk about the Gallows Knot. And literally, it's called the Scaffold Knot or the Gallows Knot.
Really?
People.
So it's like a sort of.
People died. This is the knot that people died. I'm going to briefly touch on it. Moving on.
Yeah.
But literally, it was the hangman's. This is the hangman's noose knot. Anyway. Oh, we're going to go.
Rolling, yeah.
Oh, we're rolling.
Yeah.
Were you rolling then?
Yeah. It caught a nice natural moment.
Oh,
Actually.
did it?
Yeah.
You're sneaky, aren't you?